Club Talk. J Brodie. Yeah, baby, it's that Club Talk. Yeah, baby, it's that Club Talk. You're now listening to that Club Talk. And now, your host, J Brodie. 1, 2, 1, 2, ha!
Welcome back to another episode of Club Talk Podcast. I'm super excited right now. This is the first time I'd had a guest drive this far, but it's not far, but it's far enough for the podcast. Big Dan is in here, and also he is the manager of one of the finest actors coming out of Cleveland right now.
That's right.
Billy Stone is here. Got the guns popping. He's looking good.
That's right.
We gotta look good.
That's right. How you guys feeling today?
Excellent, man. Excellent.
Good.
Beautiful drive down.
Very good.
Great
good
day
drive?
for a drive. Oh yeah.
Good drive.
Definitely.
You feeling good, Billy?
Oh man, I'm stoked. I mean, this is a cool thing, man.
Thanks,
you got
man.
shaking here, bro. This is what's happening.
I'm glad you like it. Well, I'm glad your manager reached out because you would never been.
Yeah, I would have. That's why he's the smart guy. I'm the dumb guy. I just get out there and act. You know what I mean? I'm just doing it. Running it. But he's on it. He's the technical guy. I never really was technical. Like when everybody's playing video games and shit, I was more out there playing with sticks and mud. I was the sticks and mud guy, and they was on the Nintendo and Sega Genesis and all that bullshit. So, but yeah, he's navigating me through this.
That's good. That's good. So how did you guys actually hook up and meet? Where did you guys meet at?
Well, that's a good story.
Okay.
Actually, I met him in acting class.
Okay.
Yeah, and try to be an actor. Try to learn the trade of acting, and found this guy instead. No.
Yeah. Well, it's a blessing because when I first started in the acting class, there was a young man. He kind of, instantly opened his arms to me, and I first day of school in any aspect sucks. You walk in, you don't know anybody. Yeah. You're just sitting around. No one wants to talk to you. Plus, I'm, look at me. I'm kind of weird looking. So everybody's a little thrown off. But he came over and he sat down. And then, so when Dan walked up in there, I felt I should reciprocate because he looked like the lost puppy this time. And I'm all the big dog in the class. So I said, hey, what's up, bro? Come on.
And
So you took him under your wing.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal too because like acting, it's a really personal thing. Like you put yourself out there like that. If you've never done that before, it's really weird if you feel like you're doing it with a bunch of strangers. So just have somebody be like, man, no matter what happens up there, I got your back. It's all good. Like it's a big thing. Just have somebody who's like, it can get weird, but when it comes down to it, I got your back. So that was dope.
That's dope. So Billy, let's get a little bit of background story of you per se because you're the main event. I guess today.
Yeah, that's why we're here, man. That's why we're here.
So give I guess the listeners a little bit of your background. You said you had a pretty rough upbringing. Give us the whole get down. Give us your backstory.
Well, I grew up in North Collinwood, and life was good at the point when I was around 7, 8 years old, and had a nice family. My mother, my father, my brother. He's blue collar worker. Worked his ass off for his family. He really strived to take care of us, show us the way, discipline. He was big, buffed up biker dude, long hair. Not very tall, probably like 5'7", 5'8", but really handsome. I don't know what the fuck happened with me, but I got hit with the ugly stick, unfortunately. But yeah, he just was a great, solid man, and I truly learned a lot in a short period of time. Unfortunately, one night, he was on his motorcycle and he got killed. And the funny thing is, the day he died, my dad would always wear his helmet, no matter what. While all the other bikers, you stupid ass, you don't look cool with your helmet on. Yeah. He wore his helmet. He was just religious about the helmet. But that weekend, his brother came home from the Coast Guard, and his brother brought him a hat. and it was a baseball hat with the Coast Guard on it, that kind of style.
Yeah.
And he was so proud of his brother that he was over there serving his country and just, just doing the right thing when, he struggled a little bit as a teen and youth too, with the riots going on in the 60s over there, in the Huff riots and stuff. So he was proud of his brother. He was over there serving the country. And so he decided to go out that night with that hat on.
Wow.
Yeah. And so when he left that day, I was playing in a neighbor's yard, and he drove by, and I heard the bike, and I waved to him, and I never knew I was going to see him again. But I noticed right then, I was like, he didn't have his fucking helmet on. So yeah, he got killed that night, and then my life went to shit. Like, a lot of people have struggled in their childhood. But it was a big shock because it went from the beautiful, normal home to the shit hit the fan so fast. And so when my father died, my mother just collapsed. That was her first love. She just fell apart, and she just basically took off.
Really?
Yeah. And so me and my brother, we got shipped down to 55th and St. Clair. And so we grew up on the street of 74th and St. Clair. So the neighborhood was getting a little rough at that time. And so we just learned the ways of the street because my grandma, she couldn't tame us. And so fortunately, my brother, he had a little outlet. The neighbor that when we lived in the better neighborhood, he started a concessions business. His name was Gary Hegler. He's still alive, I should say. His name's Gary Hegler. Mm-hmm. And he kind of took my brother under the wing, and he took him out on the road. So he didn't have to deal with a lot of the bullshit I was dealing with.
Now, your brother's younger or older than you?
He's older. Unfortunately, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
He passed just 6 months ago. Yeah, he was such a great kid, guy, I should say. But, everybody uses the word kid.
Yeah.
So, basically, I learned the ways of the streets.
Wow,
and,
man.
I just started hustling and doing a little robbing and stealing. And by the time I hit my 20s, I was full blown, just doing it, just living like a baller, tearing it up, no regard for life, not giving a shit, hurting my family. I had a girlfriend. Well, I still have the same girl, but she was dealing with me just never coming home. Yeah, it was pretty screwed up. And by the time I hit my 30s, I was like 30 years old. I decided to join a motorcycle club, and I ain't gonna say the name, but it was the biggest in the world.
You probably heard of him.
Yeah, but
let's start with the H.
Let's not talk about it.
There might be a Hunter S. Thompson novel or something.
But we grew up around them, and they're not as bad as everybody believes. They're disciplined people, and it just didn't work out for me. 3 years around them, and then my mom passed. Yeah, so shit just was.
Man, so you suffered back-to-back losses from.
Yeah. So it was a huge struggle, but like I said, there's a lot of people that go through struggle, and it's just how you handle it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna come out of it, you're gonna feel sorry for yourself. What is the positive you can bring out of it? And fortunately, I did. And so basically, I took an early retirement in my life. I didn't start working until I was like 36 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So I enjoyed my 20s.
Because he was out there living the life.
I see.
And so in the meantime, while I was doing all that, I always wanted to be an entertainer. And because I had it in me. I mean, because I'm the type of guy that'll walk up in the room and just get everybody laughing and everybody smiling.
Yeah.
Because like I was telling Dan on the road up, what I live for now is the human connection. Just like you see me looking at you in the eye right now. Yeah. This is what I love, because I know that you're really organically listening to me.
Yeah.
You give a fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? I see the way you have a beautiful home, and
thank you.
You have your wife and that other young gentleman up there helping you with your work.
Yeah.
And it's a system, and most people today, I realize, are so disconnected.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we need to get the connection back.
Yeah.
And it's possible.
Yeah. I think what plays a part in that disconnect is this technology era, this social media. I mean, we're just constantly just walking out on the street, the sidewalk, so you can see people
bumping heads, tripping over. You know what I mean?
It's weird. I'm almost suspicious if somebody's not on their phone. It's like, what is that dude doing over there? He's like looking at other stuff than his phone.
You know, it's funny. We buy phones now for the camera and social media. We don't buy a phone to talk to people.
Yeah, because it's the
When's
internet.
the last time you probably dialed someone?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, whose number have you memorized lately?
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, I still see because I'm a lot older than you all. Yeah. You tell me a fucking number, I'm on it. It's in my head because that's back in the day.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
You know, there was no cell phones in this. Well, I was born in the early '70s, but in the '80s there was no phones, and then in the '90s I was the first one with a phone because I had shit was going on. So but I mean, I always like to talk on the phone, and I always just like to talk. My old lady gets annoyed as fuck when I walk into a place and I got to talk to everybody. Yeah. I got to. I ain't leaving without a conversation with somebody because I like to affect them.
Yeah. His name is Billy Stone, right here on Cloth Talk Podcast. I want to go back to your when you lost your dad. When you lost your dad, right, at that young age, now looking back, how did that affect you? I mean, you became like a hard person, like a shell, just heartless.
Yeah, it was.
When you look back at it, was that?
I tell you, I see these young kids that lose their parents, and I was so alone. I mean, it was awful. I mean, Did
you have anyone to talk to, a support system?
No, you just shut down, and I mean, I dropped out of school at 6th grade. I just quit going because there was no one to tell me to go, and back then they couldn't keep track of the kids that much. Like nowadays, you try to pull shit not going to school, they're getting you. You're going away. Yep. But yeah, I just started refusing to go to school. I got pushed. I went from a Catholic school. We were, a Catholic school upbringing. You say prayers in the morning, the Pledge of Allegiance. Then I went to a public school, Euclid Central, and it was a 7th grade middle school. I'd walk in the door and I'd walk right the back out the fucking door. I mean, it just was every day I did that. And there Euclid Creek runs right there. And I'd go down there and I'd cry all the time.
Really?
Yeah, you got to remember, I'm only 10 years old, 11 years old. And so, mom's gone away. She's out doing dope, drinking, fucking boozing it up, just being fucked up because that loss of her first love, first everything, she just shut the fuck down. And I finally around 15, I just started I seen all the kids, like they'd make fun of you in the school because I had one pair of shoes, 2 pairs of pants, and like 2 shirts. And them motherfuckers would know they'd see you every day and they'd just make fun of you. And it was the early stages of bullying. I guess bullying's been around for a long time. Yeah. So I was like,
did you fight a lot?
Yeah, we fought, but you fight, you stick up for yourself, but they don't know what poor is because there was a lot of kids in there that were well off because they had brand new shit. Yeah. So my grandma couldn't afford to buy us clothes because she was taking care of all her other children's kids because everybody, you got to remember, well, you don't remember because you're so damn young when I say that.
I'm only 28.
The motherfucking 80s and 90s was rock and roll. They talk about the 70s. I was just a baby in that motherfucking era, but the 80s and 90s was just party. And so a lot of people just left their kids behind just to go get high and just enjoy life. Yeah. And see, my grandma was taking care of like 5-6 of us. And on this babysitting budget, she just babysat and shit. And jeez. Yeah, so it was a struggle, but I'm gonna tell you what it did for me as a human being, as a man, and now as an actor. That I can go into an emotional cry, setback in a minute and picture the devastation and hurt and then bring it to the fucking screen. So.
And another thing to your actual question too about that is it's also made him like a really good dad. Like just knowing him.
That's a good point too.
As a dude, you know what? On the other side of that, he knows what it means.
Yeah, he sees me with my kids, so he knows. Yeah, because I know how it feels to be alone, and that's like I was gonna bring my daughter here, but she didn't know. She didn't know Dan that well. She's like, I really don't know him. I don't want. And I said, all right, that's cool. So she's at home waiting for me and shit. She's 12. She's about to be 13. Oh yeah. It's really straightened me out because like first 2 years of her her.
She's more like her mom in that way.
Yeah.
She's very timid.
Very timid.
He's like, "What's up?" She's like,
Yeah. She ain't like that. You know, sometimes I wish she was a little more outgoing, but that I'll let her come into her own. You know how that is.
She'll get there.
Yeah.
First 2 years of her being born, I was still fucked up in the head, and so I kind of regret them 2 years. But now I'm on her, and I'm really family oriented, and they're really supportive of my acting career.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
They actually, like when I told her I was going out here to do that, my daughter, she's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, oh yeah." You know, I said, "You got to do that. You know, this is a marketing thing." And
it's the podcast generation.
It's podcast world.
Yeah. What's your daughter's name? Let's shout her out.
Lainey Comer. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Lainey if you're watching it. Well, you're going to see it.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's just like I said, the struggles and the hard times that I had, it's made me a better person because I grew up with kids that mom and dad did everything for them, and let me tell you right now where they're at. They're awfully fucked up individuals. Most of them are addicts and alcoholics, and they don't know how to handle life. The pressures, because mom and dad did it all for them. And when I see people do this and they think they're helping their child by giving them everything, saying, "Oh, here, you need that new car, you need all that." No, take your ass to work. You know, I'll match you maybe on that money. Get your ass to work. Here's the fundamentals of life, because this ain't a perfect world. And I hate the word perfect, period.
Perfect.
I like the word awesome. Awesome means cool. Perfect, there is no fucking such thing as perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's unrealistic to me.
I agree.
It's unrealistic.
It seems like it's something that it's never attainable. I mean,
you'll never get it.
Yeah,
and that's a great word you use there, unattainable. I'm gonna have to use that.
Take it.
I'm gonna tweet that motherfucker when I leave, just so I sound like I know some shit. You know what I mean?
That's why his name is Billy Stone, actor out of Cleveland, Ohio. Let's do this. We'll take a quick break right here on Claw Talk Podcast. We'll come back, dig a little bit more into Billy's story about how he got into acting. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere.
You see the difference is you really miss your kids, but mom, not your son. I'll eat it till you come. Big dick bandit, yeah, I'm on the run. If you want that long cock, them Tron shots, pour me some as in many. So I'ma grab some Henny. I see you like that brown, take that last splash of Remy. Now take them clothes off, but don't you doze off. You got me hard as hell, can't you tell it's pro golf? 9 iron, it got me crime fighting. If you can make it thunder, I'll make you see that lightning. We'll start with biting, then end with scratching. I ain't playing no games, cause it's just a practice. See me with my tongue out. Girl, you make me stick my tongue out. See me with my tongue out. I'm ready to feel it. It feels amazing when I'm penetrating. You climb on top of me. I guess it's not that hard to see my tongue out. See me with my tongue out. I'm ready to feel it with my tongue out. See me with my tongue out. I'm ready to feel it. See, now it's round 2. See what that brown do? Pussy like water, so tomorrow call a mountain dew. I climbed up in it, like I'm trying to dent it. She had the type of paper, now she can't write a sentence. I'm feeling bad, she hot as Trinidad. I see these bitches Barbies, girl, I'm sorry when my Brenda's at. Real fan, light skin, little tan, thicker than a snicker. Tell the niggas about that meal plan. Come on over, take the couch, I'll take the sofa. If you got a roommate, it's cool, wait, I'll rub your shoulders. You hear me knocking? Well, let me in. If it's all the same, it ain't a game, but we can play again. See me with my tongue out. Girl, you make me stick my tongue out. See me with my tongue out. top of me. I guess it's not that hard to see my tongue out. See me with my tongue out. I'm ready if you really put my tongue out. See me with my tongue out. Now watch me lick my lips as I lick your lips. Now I'm in your face, I'm talking about your clit. Girl, you know I'm nasty. I wear suits every day, so you can't say I ain't classy. So just ask me or tell me what you thinking. I see you ain't a hoe and you don't blow, but what you drinking? We gon' pour it up. And the reason that I ask, cause your ass look old enough. You got ass, I can hold it up. I got grass, can you roll or what? See my glass, ain't it cold as fuck? Not too fast, tryna hold this. Pause for the applause. I hope that pussy fire. There's a log up in my drawers. See me with my tongue out. Yeah, be easy.
All right, we are back. Cloth Talk Podcast. Big Dan is here. Billy Stone is here.
Hey.
Fresh from Cleveland. So, how does Billy Stone get into acting? When did you decide, you know what? Fuck this shit. I want this to be my career. Take us to that moment you decided that.
Well, that's funny you say that, because I was sitting there and I'm a construction worker. And,
okay.
And again, like I said, I always wanted to entertain. So I did at one point. I went to the Cleveland Institute of Music and the Cleveland Music Settlement, and I took singing lessons and I took piano lessons, and but I was still running wide open, and I'd even show up at my sessions, buzzed up, coked up, whatever it was, whatever I was into that day. I'd be playing piano, I'd be singing, but they could smell the booze and shit. So after my life spiraled out of control, and then I was like, fuck this, and then I started getting sober and trying to get healthy and shit. I was just laying there, and I said, there's more to my life. I know it is. I know that I'm just not going to be working this fucking 9 to 5. I just know it.
Yeah.
And so I went online and I saw this little studio located in Coventry. It's called the Hood School of Acting.
That's on the east side.
Is it really called the Hood School of Acting?
Yeah, it's called the Hood School of Acting. And I said, you know what? I'm going to check this motherfucking place out. And so I walked, I know Coventry because Coventry was big in the 90s too. There was a lot of hot chicks down there. It was the place to be in the 90s. So I walked in there, and little I know, there was a super smoking hot acting teacher named Jessica Hood Morris. So she just, I said, I'm just going to try it out. I don't know what it's going to do for me.
So you just going in there with the idea, let me just see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. Just tread the waters, feel it out. And because you don't know. It's you got to try. If you don't try, you're never going to know. So I went in there. I sat through a session. And I left. And then I didn't come back for 1 year later.
Wow.
Yeah, because I still wasn't right in the fucking mind totally. And then 3 years ago, on this April 1st, what is April 1st tomorrow? When's April 1st? Tomorrow. 3 years ago tomorrow, I walked in that studio and I took classes full time. And I'm going to tell you something right now. It changed my life.
Really?
Yes.
In what ways?
Well, I will tell you this, and it might throw you slightly off, is, when all them stories of, I told you how I had that rough life and, that drug dealing life and biker life and all that, you are around super group of people, and you become accustomed to a certain group of people. So when I walked in that studio, there was a diverse community there. Black, white, Asian, gay, lesbian, And, you know, I'm not used to all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't have many black friends. Super homophobic. You know what I mean? Super homophobic. But I did have one black friend that he turned me on to the game, and he set me up with a car, and he set me up with a cell phone. But that's a whole other story. But
he got you right.
You got me right. But yeah, and when I left her that day, I go home. My girl said, "What do you think?" I said, "I think this is it."
Mm.
And I went back, and I just kept going and going. And
Wow.
Jessica, if you meet Jessica, she's one of these women that are just strong-willed, very elegant, classy.
She brings the best out of you.
Yeah.
And for him, it's you could tell.
Very intelligent, and she runs that school like a boss.
Wow.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And so she slowly tore them walls down of all that bullshit I used to think that life was. Opened my eyes to diversity.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So when you were, you figure out, all right, acting is what I want to do. Did you find yourself wrestling with that old lifestyle kind of back and forth? Like,
you know what? I tell you, you are a smart motherfucker, boy. Because you just nailed that on the head. Exactly.
Dibbling, dabbling back and forth.
Exactly.
Like, I can't let it go just yet. It's calling me.
Right. Exactly. Because old habits are hard to break.
Yeah, come on, Billy. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Hang out with the boys.
Right. Exactly. and you for 2 years into that acting, it was still illuminating. It was still illuminating. And then this past year, I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't give a fuck.
Cold turkey, you just dropped it. Ooh.
Like a fucking bad habit, dude.
Wow.
And then you know, the first one big mistake I did make when I first started, and which I tell these new kids coming into the studio, everybody's like, oh, you got to go out for these student films and all this. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait till I get my technique better and all that. Was a huge mistake. I should have just been booking these student films right off the bat, just to learn how these little small sets work, to learn how to navigate on set, to learn how to communicate with the director and everybody else around. See, I only really started booking small roles in 2017 because I knew I had the confidence. I knew that it was time. Yeah. But it was really a mistake because I really recommend anybody starting off, go do that student film. Yeah. You make your own little films and get a crew together because it's going to help you in the end, for sure. You know what I mean? Just like when you started off with this podcast, probably you didn't know what the fuck you were doing, but you knew you were going to do something.
That's it.
And so trial and error gets you better and better at your craft. So it's just it's amazing how in tune and connected I am with human beings now because of it.
That's dope. Dan, so when you met Billy, what did you notice about him off bat?
Oh man, like I just knew he was a wild dude. Like there's a look in somebody's eye when they've seen the type of shit. It's like this dude might have been like on some weird shit at one. Like I don't know if he was taking the same drugs I took, but he's seen some shit for sure. For sure. I don't know how everyone has their own journey and shit, but like it's that life experience thing, and even I definitely didn't have that hard of an upbringing by comparison in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. But I got wild for a little while in my life, and there's almost like an unspoken thing about like people who partied. You know what I mean? Because you really do, like you see weird shit. I've been parties where girls like almost died and shit. And
Jesus
it's like
Christ.
You go through that, and so it's like you just like it's a certain level-headedness of like having just done more and having had more life experience. Yeah. Whereas like a lot of these people coming into acting of all things, haven't even had those kind of experiences. And it's just like, when you meet somebody who has, there's just a natural kind of connection there. So that was a big part of it. And then he was
it was a natural connection. I'll be honest with you. And just like Devin Broadbent, he's a teacher now. He's doing a lot of commercial. He works for Talent Group. But when we see each other, it's like, because I don't see him that much now, but it's like we go back to that day when he sat next to me and welcomed me in that class. You know what I mean?
That's camaraderie.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
It's like
that's why he's so goddamn smart. Yeah.
It's like being in a dojo though. It's like we're both here so that we're gonna make each other better at why we're here. So like that's cool. It's always like this. It's like you're doing what you're doing and he's doing what he's doing, and when it comes together, something better comes out of it. You know, so that's I'm a big fan of that for sure.
So how many drugs did Billy use?
Well, I
want to know that.
I'll tell you, I never did heroin. Oh no, I did. No, I snorted heroin once. I thought it was coke.
Yeah.
I think I was in Panama City. I was 21 years old. This dude's laying out lines. Oh, let me hit one of them, and I snorted that motherfucker. And I was like, what the fuck? I started throwing up. So I guess I did heroin. But it I was always like to go fast. A speeder, man. We strive to stay up for days and shit. And like one time I was up for a week. And
a week?
Yeah, a week.
God,
yeah, that shit gets fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah. It was wild. But
so you dabbled in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, well, we loved the the methamphetamine and shit like that. The cocaine was always so temporary.
Temporary.
Yeah. But my favorite drug of choice, I'll be
I was just
honest
going to ask you,
with,
what will be your favorite? Thank you.
Good
man, Dan.
Yeah, Dan knows about the sound thing. I'm always crinking this bottle and shit like that. But my favorite drug of choice, and I don't. Anybody out there listen? Drugs no good.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Don't
It's a nowhere win situation. Don't do the shit.
Disclaimer.
But this is my disclaimer. Yeah, is acid. I love fucking tripping.
You
man.
enjoy the acid. What is it about acid?
Oh
what does
my
it do?
God! It brings out every emotion, artistically, physically, mentally. I mean, having sex on it. I mean, it just charges you.
That's wild, man.
It just fucking charges. You know how you hear people had bad trips?
Yeah.
I ain't never had one.
It was always amazing.
It was a fucking amazing. Everything was different. It was fun, and I did it. I've did it in bars. I've did it in the woods. I mean, we one time, me and my boy and two other dudes, we drove around on the shit, just fucking tripping, laughing. I mean, if the shit wouldn't fucking fry your brain, I'd probably just take it every day. I mean, really, like I said, don't do drugs.
That's not like a commercial.
Yeah.
That's Billy's past.
Yeah, that's in the past.
Yes.
Now I enjoy being an actor.
Yes.
And but yeah, it's I'm glad it all ran its course. Again, another tool in the knowledge of life. I lived for that shit, drinking, drugs, fucking, hustling. But I like to go to work. I mean, I don't know if most people don't like to go to work.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, I didn't start work till later in life, till like 36. I mean, so I mean, it's another tool in my, my pouch of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So
did you ever experiment with anything crazy?
I've never been high or anything. I never.
Get the fuck out of here! Good for you, man.
Damn.
Now you drink alcohol?
Wine.
Why? Yeah.
All right.
I have a dab. Not even a cigarette.
Oh, well, fuck smoking. I never smoked cigarettes.
That's why I'm always interested when I meet people who've done drugs and drank and all that stuff. Like I'm just live vicariously through them. Like, what does that do to your body? How does it make you feel? Man. I just never, because I grew up in the projects and I seen what it done to people around me. And I said, I don't want to be like that. So I made a vow to myself.
You see the end of the road. That's
I'll never do it. And I kept it.
And I think that's why a lot of people get into it is because they don't see the end of the road. They don't see what happens at the end of that. So they're like, I'm gonna try it and I'm just gonna see where it goes.
Yeah, I would literally see people slumped over in the streets, and I'm like, drugs do that. I'm good.
That's
staying away. So
that's good though. That's good though.
Yeah, so I never tried it.
I'll be honest with you, and it's my daughter one time we was cruising and shit, and because I always preached to her about alcohol and drugs, and so she returned it back on me. She says, "Dad, did you ever do drugs?" I look back, I give her that look, I go, "Fuck yeah," and I said it was the worst mistake of my life. And she's like, okay, and then so now the questions are rolling out like a motherfucker, and she goes, "Dad, you ever been to jail?" I look back. Fuck yeah.
That's going to be my next question.
No, I never did no prison time, but, a little county time. Everybody's done that.
We can hear.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a little this and a little that. I'll tell you, I don't wish prison life on anybody because I've never been to prison, but I know people have. But even just going down to the county, it's a nasty motherfucker, dude. It's just, it's dirty. But like I said, I know guys that went to jail for a long time, and they come out, they're a different human being. So I try to stress to my kid, I said, it ain't worth it to go down that path. You got to be honest with yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Work hard and stay focused, and hopefully she does, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't be there to hold her hand all the way through life.
She's going to eventually grow into her own woman.
Right, yeah. She, like I said, she's going to be 13. She's like, she told me I don't want to go because she didn't know Super Dan here. And I said, you know what? If you feel uncomfortable, I ain't going to drag you along and make you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. I just wanted her to see me, do an interview showing that drive works.
Exactly.
It is really... there is a real such a thing. Yep. No matter on what scale, if you want to be the best shit shoveler, you go for being the best shit shoveler. Yeah. And I always say the guy that shovels shit once a week for the guy that shovels shit every day, guess who's going to be the best shit shoveler? Exactly. The guy doing it every day.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, fucking bust your ass and reward will come.
Yep. His name is Billy Stone. Actor out of Cleveland, one of the finest up and coming out of Cleveland.
Damn, you got to see it.
He's putting the work in, putting his foot in your ass.
That's right. I like that term, foot in your ass. I just tweeted that out. Tweeted that out today. Kicking life's ass.
There you go. So what are you going to do when your daughter has her first boyfriend and he breaks her heart?
Oh man, and it's coming because I could see she's starting to boys.
To talk to the little boys.
Well, yeah, oh man, she and it's funny to watch your daughter or even your son go through the transformation of life, and they're getting unrecognizable. Yeah. And so I said, if you bring a little boy home, he's gonna sit down with me, and I ain't gonna pull the old gun bullshit and all that.
Try to scare him.
Yeah, but I just because I'm a little ass dude. I'm 5'5", 5'6" with some shoes on and shit. You know what I mean? So I'm a little ass dude. So I said I'm just gonna sneak his ass when he ain't looking. He ain't gonna know about it. I ain't gonna because it's y'all. You don't want to catch a case thing either. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
don't let that.
Yeah, I don't want to catch no case. So I'm gonna sneak his ass. He ain't gonna know me. Know it's me because I'm just gonna get him if he abuses her because there's so much of that going on nowadays, man. Mental and physical abuse. It sucks. Yeah. And let's face it. As a child, I was really abused by my mother mentally because she took off. So it's just like me and Dan were talking. In theory, life is all the same in every different aspect. Just how everything coincides, and it's so I told her, I said, don't you ever depend on no fucking man or even your parents or nobody. Get out there and get your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you have children?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, you're still young. You're only
28.
Yeah, you're 28. So
we got plenty of time.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, I didn't have mine until I was 32, and I strongly suggest that because it's up to you. Y'all doing some fucking. That's up to you. But
he's doing some fucking.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We're nice and young.
Yeah, right.
Our fucking stages.
Yeah, right. You're just horny. I mean, you can probably just walk around with a hard on. Just come here. I love you. But
knocking shit over.
Knocking shit over and shit. Well, I'm hung like a tic tac. I don't got that problems. But anyways, yeah. So but I say you get your 20s out, and by the time you're 30. Because my old lady was always ready for a kid. I wasn't. I was just out. I was ready to, do some wild shit. But and so finally she did get knocked up. And we tried because my mother, we did make amends, me and my mom towards the end.
That's good.
Yeah, on her deathbed, and she always wanted a granddaughter. So we tried before she died to let her know we was gonna have a child, but. She died 2 weeks later.
Oh man!
We found out. So it was just, we missed it by it. Yeah, that's a whole nother story too. Yeah. I mean, I got 1,000 stories. I don't even think we have enough the whole week to fucking fit this motherfucker in. But it was a shame. She didn't know, but everybody's like, she knows from heaven. But I mean, in mind and body, that's always the best. Would be the best thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah. But. Yeah, I try to give her a good, well-rounded home now, and I'd be honest, I'm not the ethical parent. I swear, I go fuck, I say fuck, because I was raised with the word fuck and shit and all that, and I mean, I guess I came out okay in the end. I don't know. I'm still not done. I got lots to go. So I do lose my mind here and there, a temper, I should say, and she understands. And then when I say sorry, just the pressures of life sometimes get to you.
Yeah.
I don't know about you young people, but
no, definitely.
you know, I mean, you lose your cool or not. Then you seem like a pretty cool, collective dude.
Yeah, I'm relaxed. I take things very well when shit gets hot. I don't know. I've been blessed with this personality where I'm just cool all the time.
I see that. That's all from the moment I was like, damn, this guy, he's got it.
It bugs my wife out too. She's like, how does this not bother you? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, shit happens. You just keep going.
Can I get some of that? Are you selling some of that? Because I'll be fucking at the door every day. Yo, let me get some, bruh. Let me get some coolness.
Get him some chill
You know
pills.
what I mean? You make because so many people just freak the fuck out nowadays.
Hell yeah. You see so much of it, it makes you want to be like, come on, chill out, yo.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world, man.
And as an actor, I think for me now, and that's, I strive for patience.
Mm-hmm.
Patience and persistence is my motto I live by now. And it helps me stay focused. Because I just went for an audition and it was for a dad role. And so I went for the audition and then I was driving home or whatever, and I got the text, we want you to come back, and I was all super fucking excited and shit. So I go back and it's down to 5 of us, and I see all 5 guys and
sizing them up.
Always.
Actually, they just had to. I tell you, I don't know how I didn't get the audition. Bottom line, and it did sting, but again, patience and persistence got me over that moment. And because the one dude, he just looked like the super father dude. Me, I just got done shooting a movie, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And so I had this super shaved head. I played a tactical soldier, so I didn't really look very fatherly to me. I looked like more of a soldier dude,
like a cop.
Cop. And so I don't know if that blew it or I just blew it in the audition room. Whatever it may be, the patience and persistence is what gets me through these times. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to live by. Yeah. How about you? What do you think? What is your motto?
My motto is just be a go-getter.
Yeah. That's exactly like this.
Because life is, in my opinion, you never know when your number's going to get called.
Yeah.
Great point.
Make every single thing that you do the best that it can be in that moment, because you probably won't get the opportunity again.
Right.
So if you have the opportunity, like I'll do it next week, or you blow it off and you regret it later on, and you don't want that. So I try to live by that. Every moment that I see it could be opportunity, I try to take advantage of it.
What, man? You're getting my dick hard just saying that. Because that is a great motto there, big guy. Yeah. Because you gotta seize the opportunity.
Yeah.
And there's so much out there.
Yeah. No, this guy had a big impact in my life in that way. Where I was just down for whatever reason, just at the point in time where we met as friends and stuff like that, with personal life stuff, just like in depression, something I've always struggled with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like just for like mental illness is like, for me, it's been a big reoccurring theme in my life. But when I met him, I mean, that was like the whole theme of our relationship for a while. He knew I had the potential to do things. It's just I didn't believe it enough. And he's like, you just got to force it to happen. You just got to make your next great thing happen, and then it eventually comes around, and just by staying consistent like that.
Yep.
He was right.
And like I said, being an actor in like the Hood School of Acting, and we'll get back to that, is that we're both trained the Meisner technique, and I don't know Sanford Meisner. He's read his books and stuff.
I have no idea what that.
Yeah, so he can more he can more talk about it better than me. But the Meisner technique basically living the truth in imaginary circumstances. And if you
let me give a little background. Just real quick.
You talk about it because you're
real
smarter.
Quick.
But I just wanted to get that ball rolling.
Really quick. So when they were figuring out how to make movies, right? They had actors. They knew they needed actors, but they didn't know how to make the actors feel like real in the movies. And there was a developing school of thought in acting developed by this guy named Konstantin Stanislavski. He was this Russian guy. He was a genius. And he basically figured out that if actors are relaxed, if you can find a way to get people to relax to a certain level of relaxation, the performances always come across as realistic because they're not having those sort of physical cues of having to think about something or having to force to appear to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And so, from that, there was like 3 other major schools of thought. One was Stella Adler, which is kind of a little closer to Stanislavski. Another guy was Lee Strasberg, and he was kind of still a little closer to the Stanislavski with just some slight modifications. And then there was this guy, Sanford Meisner, who kind of just did his own thing. He got really he was teaching acting for a while, and he was working with like the greatest actors for quite a while. But then he got really sick. He developed some really serious health issues, and so when he was in the hospital, didn't one of those kind of things, didn't know if his number was going to get called. He's just like, what's like the last thing I could do that would make my legacy count? And so he kind of developed his own theory of acting. And because he was so inspired by it, it actually healed him and gave him a little bit more time in his life so he could kind of give this gift to the world, which was Meisner technique. And
check that out.
Yeah, it's a pretty
It's Pep's story.
It's a pretty inspiring stuff because this is a man who was very intelligent, very well versed in psychoanalysis, very well versed. So he wasn't just coming from the technical aspect, but also this whole philosophical and psychological aspect of what's going on when people are having a conversation in a scene or playing through the scenario in a scene, and how do I make people understand that and have a psychological anchor to where they can believe that that's real for them. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like a form of kind of like self-hypnosis. When you're acting a scene, you're actually believing for that time, for whether it's 5 minutes when you're shooting that take of the scene, you're convincing yourself that whatever's happening to you is absolutely real. And you get there in a very strange series of steps.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We could demonstrate something if you're interested.
If you all want to,
yeah.
Let's do this. Let's take a break. Then when we come back,
all right,
we'll let you guys do it.
Hell yeah.
We're sitting here with Big Dan, Billy Stone. We'll be right back on Cloth Talk Podcast.
Blue dream by the pound. Pitching, I'm curving them batters. Young Cuban on the mound. Rest in peace, Jose Fernandez. Y'all better show me some manners, or y'all gon' go broke like you hammer. I'll come and tax every bag up you fucking re-up at the palace. I'll be with Sarah. I don't fuck up with mascara. We might just get flying Sarah. And get rich, but don't worry. And heck is jumping, no hurry. We don't look forward to marriage. We just more into them carrots. Condos in Paris. One text and all of them problems are vanished. Opposite side of me where you don't wanna be. Come through with some old heads that'll shoot where you gonna be. Trust me, your triple OG is a son of me. Free of charge, it was fun of me. You know if the tribe is involved, I'm putting bodies in morgues. I punch a kangaroo in the face. Don't be fucking with my dogs. Niggas coming for what's in the safe. Niggas leaving with a loss. Fuck niggas gon' stay dry. Take my energy, you tried. Double R, didn't wake up. Swear the same night I cried. Everyone want a piece of the pie. Like a throwback, easy and not. Life is a bitch, then you die. Life is a bitch. I know the tricks of the trade. I got some licks to get paid. No, I'ma flip every day, whether legit or it's not. OT punching the clock, pulling the fresh out the pie. Spend your whole life trying to get by. Life is a bitch and you die.
See I'm running up the comments, but that don't mean that you prospered. All that money don't mean nada. Fast whips and designer. Yeah, I know you got a lot of, but you lacking all the knowledge. I don't wanna sound conscious, rather jump in the mosh pit. That's how I feel right now. Let's keep it real right now. No, we the lobbyists. Fuck all the nonsense. Get the profit, and for them dollars we gon' off them. 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 Nigga, for them dollars we gon' off them. For them dollars we gon' off them. Know we the lobbyists. Know that we shining. I know that you know that we grinding. And don't care who watching. We don't care who watching. We don't care who watches. Let them bitch niggas watch us. Put them niggas in the coffin. Put them niggas in the coffin. I will motherfucking off.
Been getting it. The planet is mine, yo, I'm wrecking shit. They said that this life is a bitch, I'm demanding it. Fucking, you know I'm not settling. Vagabond, I keep it calm when mama karma coming knocking at the door. You know I'ma be there, prepared for whatever. You reap what you sow. Life is whatever you make it. Taught if you want it, you gotta go take it. I've been so distracted, I'm back in rotation, my back on the wall. So I'm going out blazing, whatever it takes. Bang, bang, bang. Get down on the floor. They trying to kill us off. Motherfuck your laws. I said bang, bang, bang. What you shooting for? Why you trying to go and take us out? My life worth as much as yours.
Why they killing off the fucking animals? Why they acting like some fucking cannibals? All my life I've been searching for antidotes. living up so twisted, trying to feed a slide instead of some niggas in the street got no food to eat, shoes on their feet. Man, put on the beat, I'm about to grab a seat, tune in the frequency. Some folks blind to see, better just guard your cheek. Ignorant or the deaf, sometimes I feel and know that I'm blessed. Life's a game of chess, better just try your best. Finesse, clear your stress. We all bleed in blood and we made of flesh. Each day's a test, and up and more and less. Open up the lens, love all your friends you keep close. Smoke some weed, cups up, give a toast. Take some more hits than I am ghost. Heading straight towards the Astros. None of this cash rules, hearts and their passion. They be on fashion, souls keep on crashing. Self-destruction, I know it just happens.
I know the tricks of the trade. I got some licks to get paid. No, I'ma flip every day, whether legit or it's not. OT punching the clock, potent the fresh out the pie. Spend your whole life trying to get by. Life is a bitch and you
All
die.
right, we're back. Cloth Talk Podcast. Billy Stone and Big Dan is here.
That's right.
Before we went to break, you guys said you're actually going to give us a little gift of a little demonstration of what you guys was just talking about before we went to break.
Show you a little something, little acting class.
Little
for
Meisner
you.
technique.
So it's called the
Meisner technique.
All right. So
This is the first exercise you do in the system.
okay.
And it's really it goes in stages. There's different stages of this this repetition. And basically the idea is when you start out, you don't really focus on what's being said so much as how the other person's reacting and how you feel about what's happening. So, that whole point of like making yourself believe a scene, when you're believing something's happening to you, your experience of things is all about how you feel about it or what somebody else is doing, right? I mean, that's what affects like most outcomes in life. So to believe something's real, you just got to get used to that process and make it like second nature. So for the repetition, you start out just saying things to the other person. It starts with anything, just a basic observation, like he's wearing jeans, something like that. And that just gives me dialogue so that we can start the discourse. And then from there, once we have something to talk about, it's all about, well, what is he doing and how do I feel about it? So we'll kind of show you a little bit how that goes.
Yeah.
I guess I'll let him start on, he'll make his observation and then we'll go from there.
All right, let's see it.
All right, here we go. This is Meisner technique. What is it? Repetition. You have a green hat.
I have a green hat.
You have a green hat.
I have a green hat.
You have a green hat.
I have a green hat.
You have a green hat.
I have a green hat.
You have a green hat.
You're being really aggressive.
That's weird.
You're shocked by that?
Yeah, I'm shocked by that.
You're shocked by that.
Well, dude, you blew. It's just repetition on this one. It's not it's not second day. You just gotta.
All right, I'll start with the basic
fucked
technique.
it up.
What's all right?
So it's repetition. Then it's second day. With
a point of view.
With a point of view, right? Okay.
Okay. So all right.
Yeah,
so I'm
this
sorry.
guy's fucking it up.
So we'll do it in two stages. I'm sorry. I skipped to the advanced.
Yeah.
So this is in the first level. It's literally just the same thing.
Repeating.
Yeah.
Just
So
that
it would
we just
literally just be the green hat, but you'll watch the subtle expressions, and even on that expression change, that will still have an effect on me, which will cause me to have a response, which will cause him to have a response in turn. So even without changing the dialogue, you'll see that take place. So we'll just do that again. So you go ahead and start again. Sorry, my fault.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat.
You have a black coat.
I have a black coat. So all right.
That's great.
Yeah, so I don't know if you could see what was going on there, but we were kind of reading what was going on with each other based on just the emotion or the response that was coming out, and a lot of times it's not necessarily rational in that circumstance, but it's more about being able to identify that, which I think everyone in society could be benefit from in communication, just reading more what's going on with another person, because we all never know what someone's going through and shit like that. So just having that general skill, I think, is really cool, because I connect with general, like he was saying, everyday people a lot better by kind of having that level of empathy and identification for where they might be, and what they're expressing. But beyond that,
have you ever heard of this technique?
No, I'm
really.
I'm
Okay,
surprised.
yeah.
No,
A
this is all new to
lot
me.
of heavy duty actors in Hollywood.
Tom Cruise,
Meryl Streep, Christian Bale.
Mm.
They
Philip
all
Seymour Hoffman.
They all study this.
But
Wow.
let's go into the second day.
Second day
This is more
repetition.
interesting. This is where you start to get people like crying and screaming and
Yeah.
Oh,
just all
shit.
the stuff that like people, we call it getting pinched or like being triggered by, like you'll see a lot more deep emotional responses, because when you do kind of confront the words that go along with the emotions, it gets a lot more interesting. So
Okay,
we'll go for that.
you gotta pick. You start.
Okay. I'll start. You have a tattoo.
I have a tattoo.
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 You have a tattoo.
You're fucking annoying me.
I'm annoying you?
You're annoying me.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You're a jerk.
You're so like sensitive. You're upset.
You're upsetting me.
I'm sorry.
That's insincere.
That's insincere.
You're insincere.
You're ridiculous. That's stupid.
That you find that ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's dumb.
Don't raise your voice at me. You're angry.
You're shocked by that?
I'm shocked by that.
You're shocked by that.
I'm shocked by that.
That's confusing.
You're confused.
That was really pretentious. I'm just mad.
Stop being rude.
Stop
You're
being
rude.
rude?
You're
I'm
rude.
I'm rude.
You're rude.
I'm rude.
You're rude.
I'm rude.
You're rude.
You're upset.
That's obvious.
That's you're just being a dick.
You're confused.
I'm confused.
You're confused.
I'm confused.
You're confused.
I'm confused.
Stop giving me that stare.
You're being so like standoffish. It's just so annoying.
You think it's funny. It's
I think it's
ridiculous.
funny.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
You're not taking me seriously. I don't appreciate that.
You're upset.
Obviously. You're such a dick.
Obviously, that's ridiculous. That's kind of like what happens. Yeah, it just
I felt like I was actually watching like two. I was like,
Well, that's what it's supposed to do. It draws you in. Yeah. So
because
yeah,
we totally believed whatever was happening there was real,
yeah.
and you could tell.
It felt. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
You're like, you're confused. You're annoying me. I'm like, oh shit, he's annoying. He's about to hit his ass.
Right. Fight!
it can actually. There's been so many times
That's
in class.
cool, man.
There's times in class where fights have to get broken up because it gets to that level of
It
real.
gets that intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
Jeez.
it's kind of like what you see in society. I feel like with like people's religious and political beliefs, they believe whatever's going on so much, and they're so attached to the emotional outcome of it that they get crazy. And that's you see that in acting class. Even there could be a scene about nothing, and people are just so involved and invested emotionally in what they've built up to in that point, in that moment.
Damn.
There's actually like sometimes physical violence. It's crazy.
Jeez.
Well,
Wow.
And Jessica, in one thing, she runs her class. If you can't restrain yourself, she will toss your ass right the fuck out
Yeah.
too. She don't care. Yeah.
Jessica's a real deal, man.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to get her on the podcast because
Oh,
she
that'd
is
be
a
awesome.
bad motherfucking girl, dude. I mean, woman, I should say, because like I said, she was at I think Playhouse West. Playhouse West, and she was taught by the best out there. And when she brought her studio here 10 years ago in Coventry, she opened her studio up. I mean, she's got some good actors out there right now in Atlanta that are booking regularly, one out in California. So, yeah, she's producing good actors, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, she's very talented. And for anybody out there that wants to take acting classes in Northeast Ohio, because there are people that drive as far as Columbus to Cleveland to go to her. That's how.
And Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
And
Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Pittsburgh,
yeah.
too.
They drive far as fuck. I mean, they're nuts.
Every week. Yeah.
But she's worth it. She's worth the time. She's worth the money, and she invests in you personally. And she's that intelligent that she can individually put the time in.
Wow.
You know, yeah. She's very iconic to me. I love her. I mean, because
awesome.
when I win my first Oscar, she's gonna be on the red carpet with me. She's gonna be my girl and Jessica.
Right on.
Bam!
There we
You
go.
heard that, Jess? I told you.
Right on. We're sitting here with Billy Stone, Big Dan. So let's talk about your first role that you landed, and how was that? How did it go?
Well, remember when I reiterated on about a student film? I seen Tri-C, community college up in Cleveland. I don't know if there's a Tri-C here.
No, it's Cuyahoga County.
Cuyahoga. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
Cuyahoga
duh.
County Community
Yeah,
College.
you're right. Duh. What a dumbass. But so I just saw this that they were looking for student films, and I went there, and I played an angel.
Angel.
Yeah, like and a young kid he was about to do heroin for his first time because all his friends were doing heroin. And I kind of like appeared and talked him out of it. You know, I sucked. It fucking blew. You know what I mean? But,
is this something we can find on the internet? Can we see this?
You actually can. You actually fucking
I can hook
can.
you up with that.
Yeah. You can find it. You look under Tri-C Student Films. You'll see. What's the fucking name of the movie? Oh shit, I forget.
The Fork in the Road.
Fork in the Road. Bam,
Fork
baby.
in
See,
the
that's why
road.
you got that great mind shit going on. But yeah, the Fork in the Road. So that was like my first student film, and then I just started doing these other little short films. Did a few 48-hour film projects, and then I picked up this feature. I played a drunk. Carlos Dunn's the director. It's called Estella's Revenge. It's not like a big blockbuster movie, but it's got a little weight to it, and he's a good director, and the cast is great in it. But like I said, I played a drunk. And,
what was the name of the character? Your character?
I was laying up all fucked up, and I told the director, I said, "This ain't shit. I lived this role." And so I played that. But then they invited me back, and I just got done filming it, and it's called Embrace the Twilight.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, and
latest film.
It's a book. It was on the New York Sellers best list. Maggie Shane is the author, and so I play a character named DPI Soldier Joe.
Oh shit!
And his character, he's a real motherfucker. I mean, he's deceiving. He's rotten. Any chance he gets, he's trying to manipulate everybody, and actually he rapes a vampire girl.
Yeah, it's a vampire novel.
Yeah, it's a vampire novel. Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
It gets wild.
Yeah, it gets pretty wild. And so this is
Kind of like a Resident Evil vibe.
It's gonna do well. It's like I said, I don't know how much he's spending a little money on it, but me to get into that mindset of that character to go rape somebody.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how did you
and
get
they were
yourself ready for that?
Yeah,
Weren't you at Lorain County Jail too?
Yeah, it was in a jail cell.
So where did y'all shoot it exactly?
Yeah, Medina County.
Oh, was it Medina County?
No, yeah, Medina County Sheriff's Office.
There you go.
Yeah. So we shot it there, and like I said, going into it, and this all goes back to the Meisner technique that I was able to prep. That I was really this person, and I was gonna go rape this other person. Yeah, I know people listening are probably like, "Wow, that's a fucked up thing." And I've done these student films and short films and stuff like that, but this is like to go into that first dark mindset like that and pull that off. It was a challenge, but I got to see a little bit of the playback on it, and it's fucking scary. I tell you, it's fucking scary.
Let me ask you this: so when you're getting into that type of a dark character, how do you come down from that? Cut. How do you just?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So you really have to. You got to start breathing. I'll be honest with you. You got to start taking deep breaths, and you got to snap out of it slowly, because even she felt so. If you had seen her face. And she's playing a 17-year-old girl, but she's 28 years old. And she comes from I could tell just to get to know her that she ain't been around wild shit. Like, I've seen that shit when I was younger and been around shit like that, but it really shook her up too. And so I had to really walk the fine line with her, because I didn't want her to flip out right there at the scene. So I had to take my time and really methodically plan this out. But I got there, and I was proud of it. And the director liked it. The cameraman liked it. So we're going to see. Hopefully, I think it'll be out on the 19th. Then I just played I forgot about this one. I did In the Super Cold. It's a little short film by these young, badass filmmakers. Tomorrow Will Be Different. And hopefully that'll be out in a couple months. And I played a robber. I stuck a knife to a guy, and he pulls a gun out on me, and it's like 20 degrees out in the middle of the snow. And we were out there shooting for like 4 or 5.5 hours, and I just wanted to see how long I could keep my mental ability going under them conditions. And
You did it?
I did it. That's when I knew when I was walking back to the car and I couldn't feel my hands or feet. Then I said, "This is it.
Is it worth it?"
Yeah. I said, "No." I said, "This is it. This is the mindset and all that."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've been auditioning a lot, and like I said, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy in the aspect that you have to have thick skin because there is rejection. There's a
lot of no's.
lot of rejection in
no's,
life.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much rejection you've had in your life.
Yeah. Not a lot.
Nah, dude, he's
now,
just
how long
sweet.
you been?
He's smooth.
Yeah.
You're married, right?
Mhm.
Okay, how long you been married for?
3 years.
Okay, so it's
It's
new.
still early for us.
So did you ever have a girl reject you at any point of your life when you really liked somebody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then she just said, "Hey, I want to be friends," or I don't.
Get
and
stuck in a friend zone.
Yeah, and
It's like being in friend zone all the time when you're auditioning until they say yes.
Yeah, right.
Just a little
exactly.
piece, please.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like being in the friend zone is your job as an actor until someone says you're good enough to be with us.
So how many auditions are we going to? Like, let's say in a month or a week or
Well,
whatever.
I try to. I'm getting momentum now. I'm doing once a month, twice a month, but the season's really kicking off because there's different seasons. There's pilot season and stuff like that. Now springtime is everybody wants to start making films around here because of the weather.
Yeah, it's very weather based up here.
Yeah, very weather based up here, and we're looking. We're looking here shortly to bounce down to Atlanta. I don't know if you're familiar with Atlanta.
My sister lives out there.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's popping down there.
Yeah.
A lot of film, a lot of everything's just going on, a lot of entertainment down there. So we're working our way up to that point to get down there and
So you're gonna pack the whole family up?
Yeah,
and
I think
make
so.
it-
Yeah. Plus, I can't stand the fucking snow more.
Yeah,
You're sick of it.
Yeah, I've been dealing with
Shoveling
this
the
shit.
driveway.
Fuck, man, just cold feet, wet and shit like that. It's tough, but I tell anybody that's starting off, just keep going and going, and we'll see how far I get. But I will always be acting because it's just a great thing. It just makes you mentally and spiritually whole.
Yeah. Has there ever been a point where you wanted to just quit and give up? Like, fuck this acting shit. man.
Yeah,
actually,
definitely. Yeah, he's talked to me about shit like that.
Yeah,
Ready to just give it up.
About a year ago, because I wasn't really. I was just so confused about how the process is, and again, I ran into Devin. I talk about Devin Broadbent, and he's like, "You can't give up, bro. You gotta keep going." And he kind of inspired me and gave me that recharge to just keep plugging the fuck along, boy.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, he's a positive dude. And you can see him. He's on all these commercials here out in Cleveland. He does Mr. Hero commercials and medical commercials.
I mean, he's
and
done
stuff.
stuff for the state of Ohio too, so you've probably seen him here.
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
Columbus area. Yeah,
he's everywhere.
He does a lot.
He's just a very positive being. And like I said, I now though after that last, I almost was gonna quit. There ain't no quit now. It's just my motivation is just too thick right now, and I don't think I'm gonna ever lose it.
And I think it's important to understand too that like. I mean, I don't know. Even though like everyone thinks like movies are like sexy and like acting is like a cool lifestyle, it's like it's not easy, man. If you really want to do that, to choose to do that, like I wouldn't want my kid to do it.
Really?
Like to bet everything on something, without ever knowing if you're going to be able to support yourself and having to do other things to support yourself.
Yeah. There's no guarantees with it.
Yeah. I mean, if you work hard,
you
can kind of make it work for you. But to be great at it and to make really good money doing it, you have to work hard and also be lucky at the same time. So it's like it's weird in that way where like a lot of careers it's not like that. You know what I mean? So it's like I think it's important to understand about that lifestyle. So it's like when he was talking about back in the day, he was kind of like, oh man, I could go and I could support my family so much easier, and that is a big burden to carry to have that level of responsibility. He's like, then I would just be giving up a piece of me that I don't think I can give up.
Yeah.
And so he's slowly finding that he's able to do both. And he's been more and more successful since he's adopted that mentality. So it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, you gotta be able to multitask, and frustration might come. Which I mean, you do podcasting and you have a regular job. But wouldn't it be nice just to podcast and make money?
Ooh-wee.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
get the sponsors going.
Oh boy!
Because looking on your face, you got a nice smile. You're happy. Your wife
makes me feel good,
Yeah, this guy looks like money. Dude. Throw some money at him.
You heard it here.
Yeah,
I'm hooked on the podcast now. Sell me something.
Yeah. Well, I see you have a passion for it, just the way your behavior is, because that's one thing that also the Meisner technique teaches you is reading people's behavior, and I could see you real authentically love doing this.
Thank you, man. I do.
Yeah, and I like to meet people that enjoy things, that are inspired by things, and I can see you are. And your wife, she's up there helping you, and it's that's what it takes. That's what it takes.
We
a
work
group
like
effort.
a team. Yep.
A team. It's sometimes people have to go it alone, but then sometimes there's help, and it's great to have help. Yep. And it's not, don't ever be ashamed to ask somebody for help, because people like to help, and it's not as, you see all the negative news and bullshit on TV, but there are truly good people out there.
It is.
Just
definitely.
like we met you.
Yeah.
Another great person I met along my journey
Appreciate
as an
it.
actor. You know what I mean? And when I make it out in Atlanta or LA, I'm coming back and we're gonna do your podcast.
Don't forget about me.
Right.
See you on the big screen.
I
interviewed that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So like the cloth, does that mean is that like a reference to something specifically, or is that
the name of the podcast, Cloth?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So where I got cloth from, I believe that we're all cut from a different cloth.
Wow.
So that's where.
All right, yeah, that's
So Cloth
Wait, I thought it was
podcast.
Is it cut from the same cloth, or is it cut from a different cloth?
Cut from different cloth.
Is that the way of the expression, or you switched it up?
Switch it. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah.
I got confused for a second. I could see that. Yeah, no, that's
So
interesting.
yeah, we have all types of people that are cut from a different cloth.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
a good way to put it, man.
Yep, we're sitting here with Billy, and Dan right here on Cloth Talk podcast. Let me see. Should I take a break? One more question, then we'll take a break.
All right.
For both of you, how important is it to have chemistry with an actor or actress that you are working with? Because I guess what that would translate onto screen, and I guess the watcher can kind of see that, like, this is not really. Is it important to develop a chemistry with your acting partner?
It's everything.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, and like, I don't know, famous when I hear famous actors talk about acting, they've always said things like, it's best to be unselfish, because then you give that other person more opportunity to work on the scene. That is the kind of the expression that is used a lot, and I mean, I've really found that to be true. You know what I mean? If you make it about the work, then the egos don't get in the way. It's not about how are we going to do this to make me look good, or how are my ideas going to work on the scene. It's more about like what is really going on in the scene, and how do we show we can believe that that's real for us.
Yeah. Well, and I also believe if you're generous to them, they'll be generous to you, and
Right.
then that in itself will make the scene more organic and make you feel that you're living it with those two characters. I mean, because if one actor wants to be the guy that wants to shine, and he's gonna. What's gonna happen? It's gonna take away from everything the film, all the actors, the writers, everybody believes in. So it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
It's a team effort. Like you guys, I'm not a sports guy. I don't watch sports, but my girl likes the Browns, and he likes the Cavs, and you're a Patriots guy, and you can't just LeBron can't just dribble the ball, shoot the
He
ball.
tries to.
He tries.
To do
But
it all.
I mean, but he can't. It just doesn't work. You got to be. It's a team effort, and I think actors, they need to express to each other the character that makes it in a whole. I mean, I want to say it the right way. I don't want to sound like
It's not just a collaboration of the actors too. It's a collaboration of everybody. There's a director involved. There's a cinematographer involved.
Right.
There's a writer involved. So it's like, really, it is like, the film world is like a world of culture. Like you hear businesses talk about hiring for culture and things like that. That's really, like, in my experience working, because I've worked on all sides of the camera, and the best sets I've ever been on have always been where people just vibe. Just chill, like, hey, let's get this done. Let's do as best as we can. Let's get home at the end of the day and be proud of what we did. And
no one likes a fucking diva. Bottom line,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
You know,
right.
no one likes a fucking diva. So
Have you guys ever worked with anyone that you didn't like without saying any names? Like, I can't stand this fucking guy.
Yeah.
But let's just
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
the
yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And no
But you
rant.
gotta do it.
Because it does attract a lot of weird personalities. Like, you know, you hear people talk about like walking around in LA and just weirdos. It's really like that. You just get everything. Everyone kind of has a story to tell. And, you know, sometimes it's a story I don't want to hear, but sometimes sometimes you can learn from working with. I found that you could really learn a lot from working with those people because it tests your character and
patience
and how good you are at what you do, so that you know your discipline outweighs the amount of distraction that could take place in that scenario.
He's like, would you shut the fuck up and can you just do the scene?
Yeah, right. Quit being a fucking diva. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially, you know, these people starting off. It's like, wait a minute. You got to be kind.
Pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, slow it up there,
Yep.
Turbo. You know what I mean? But it definitely helps that everybody collaborates and that you're generous to the other actor, and I'm sure they will be generous to you.
Yeah. We're here with Billy Stone, Big Dan. Let's take a quick break right here on Cloud Talk Podcast.
I'm your biggest fan, but I guess that's just not good enough. Is it 'cause I wear my hair weird or because I like to play Diablo? Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about, 'cause I really don't wanna have to spell it out. The next time you call me, I'm gonna sit and stare at the screen, waiting for the call to end. You stuck me in the friend zone. That's that bullshit. I'm gonna play Diablo either way. You can come or you could go, because I'd rather play Mortal Kombat anyway. Hey, I'm all about my Johnny Cage. If you're not bringing tacos, I suggest you start to walk away. Bitch, don't kill my vibe. I can tell you kinda gotten comfortable, so let me break it down for you. Don't call me, don't text me after 2 a.m. unless you plan on giving me some, because I got enough friends. I would throw you in the garbage, 'cause you play too many games. I'm better off by myself. Loving you's right for my health. No one wants to be in the friend zone. Friend zone.
All right, we're back. Cloud Talk Podcast. Billy Stone is here. Big Dan is here. Some of the finest people you'll see coming out of Cleveland as far as entertainment and acting goes. Okay.
Thank you. I'll take
Love
that.
you, man.
Thank you.
Can I just put you in my
Yeah,
pocket and pull you out? Now listen to this motherfucker. He knows his shit.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about what makes a good director.
Okay.
What makes a good director?
For me, a good director is somebody that's very disciplined on the scenes and the script itself. I've been around some directors that are very nonchalant. They really don't ask for much. And so when they don't ask for much, I can't really give them that much. I want them to be hard. I want them to be picky, because then they
So
can
you want
bring
the director to actually direct.
Right. I want him to bring the best of me out. Because let's face it, if you got a coach that's just sitting on the line saying, hey, throw the ball, how are you going to win the fucking game?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think a director should be very particular and have that scene in his mind. And if somebody ain't doing their job, let them know. Now, don't be a dick about it, but just be a professional about it. Explain to them what you need, and then so I can give it to you.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be walking around in the dark. And you want a director to hone in on your ability as an actor. And they all do. They know if they're a good director, they're going to know your ability and what they can drag out of you. I guarantee it. You know, I mean, that's why we've had such great films in the past. These with Scorsese and all these great acts. He knows how to pull the shit out of them, and he gets it. And that's where you get a great movie. Personally, for me, I don't know about Superman.
What about you, Dan?
Man,
makes a good director to you, Dan.
Man, I think like kind of going off what he said. I think it's like, you know, in my experience, being able to speak people's language, like being open-minded enough and receptive enough to understand like what's working as far as being able to communicate with somebody, and being able to be patient enough to make people understand what isn't working or what needs to happen, is part of it. And then I think it's just like the work ethic aspect. Like someone's just really got to want to do something well. You know what I mean? It's not just a matter of like, okay, we have the script, we have to get through this by the end of the day, let's get it done. It's like someone who's just not going to sort of settle for less than they know that they're capable of. And like you kind of said, would push people to however they can to achieve that sort of standard of greatness they know that the script kind of has written there for them. You know? I think that's important. It's like, you know, someone who just wants to do something the best of their ability, but is also willing to communicate with people, you know, how they need, because being a director is all about like communicating with everybody. It's like being an actor, you have to speak the sort of the language of acting really well, and you have to read people and personalities. Directing is like kind of like a layer of that, but then you're speaking so many different languages to sort of like get what you're doing with the lighting, get what you're doing with the camera, get what you're doing with each actor on top of that. And I think that's like, you know, being a good communicator is like super, super tough, you know, and I think that's like the most important part of that.
Yeah, I see like a lot of behind the scenes stuff where say when it like it'll like the director will cuss like, okay, I like what you're doing, but I need you to give me this, do this and that. Is that kind of like what you need, like constant coaching through like the scene?
Yeah, you want to be pushed. I mean, let's face it. I don't know. That's just my thinking is that he's hey, how'd you like it? Yeah. Oh, it's good. What?
No feedback at all.
What do you mean it's good?
Because you already really don't know how it's gonna look till it comes out, and it's even worse.
What the fuck is that?
It's even worse.
Come on, give me something here, dude. You know what I mean?
What's the type of feedback, engagement, and stuff?
Or, you know, I mean, no, it wasn't fucking good. I didn't feel it because, to be honest with you, you know when you're doing a scene, and you know when you hit the mark. Now, can you go a little more? Fuck yeah, you can
always do better.
You can always do better, and you know what? He should recognize it, and he said, "Come on, let's do it fucking again." Not because he's got to go home and get his dick sucked by his old lady. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, come on, let's make this piece good. You know what I mean? So I definitely believe that, and plus, you're not doing the writer no justice either. If you're not, you know, the writer, I believe, especially. You know, if the writing is excellent, the director and the writer collaborate, that piece should come out fantastic. Yeah. And that's what you want. You want fantastic. You don't want okay. Yeah. We want fantastic. So I definitely want a strict director. I don't know about Dan. He directed a few little things.
No, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a director by any stretch of the imagination. I just you know, I've always been interested in it, and I've done a little bit of everything just because I want to understand the process. You know, I think if you're gonna do anything good, you got to know a little bit about what everyone's trying to do, so that you can make their job easier. Yeah, because it's weird. A film is almost like a math problem. It's like you're shooting for a certain set number of days, and each day you have to get a certain amount of productivity done. So every second on a film set while the film set is running is extremely valuable. So any time that's wasted on an argument, a miscommunication, and everything like that, it's almost working against you in the math problem. So in order to solve that math problem and stay under budget and on time, you got to be as efficient with communicating as possible and stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, yeah, if a director could do that well, I think that's great. I mean, like when you get direction, I think, you know, sometimes you'll completely disagree. And I think that's something that I learned from acting class. It's like your acting teacher will tell you things about the scene, about like, she's, you know, Jessica would say something like, you're not doing that. Like, that's not what you would do if you were that person in that scenario. I might really disagree with that, but there's a level of learning how to live with that and then maybe try to get something out of it that you that carries over from like a class setting to a set setting. Because directors might say things and it might not always be really what's best for the scene, but there's a point at which if it is or if it isn't, you have to live with it. You know what I mean? And you could do what you can, but it's a job. So it's like you got to do what they're paying you to do, and that's the kind of hard part about
give
it.
them 100 and give them a fucking 100.
Definitely.
And just because you don't agree with that director,
either way,
you don't agree with them. You follow the fucking rules, give it to them, and get done through it.
Don't half-ass it.
Just I mean, you might. Because let's face it, you're not always going to agree with the director, and you can't say that's not how he would have said that. How do you know how to somebody would have said? Because you get some actors like that's not how the character would play that. How the fuck do you know how the character would play
on the other side of that,
the director is supposed to direct you on that character.
On the other side of that, how does the director know? It's
that's true.
It's a good point, but he sees the vision a certain way. He's the director. You're just a fucking actor.
We're not just an actor. It's just they're two different worlds. You know, you're living the reality that person's supposed to be experiencing, and the director's trying to create that reality for you. So it's almost like God versus man. It's like really strange in that way. Like there's things about life where I think about like, you know, why is life set up this way? This doesn't seem to work. Like this could have been designed better. You know, but like I'm not God, so that's kind of it's like shit. Well, I guess still gotta live that life. You know what I mean? That's how it goes. You know, so is it right? You know, who knows? You know,
that's tricky.
Yeah,
that's
tricky.
really
Yeah, it is very tricky.
Because you try to find out like the medium. Okay, it's like no, I would do it this way, but the director's like no, this way. You're like no, I think this way is better. It's like
it's a fucking mess, man. It's a fucking mess. But like I said, I think the instinct of the director and the writer, I'll go with. I really will. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
You don't go against direction too much.
Well, no, I would not. I mean, because like I said, if they see it, you tell me what you need, and I'm gonna go deliver. I'm gonna give it to you. Yeah. So I wouldn't really, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. Everybody's got an opinion, and that's great because let's not all be fucking robotic and follow what everybody else is doing. But I mean, the writing and the director collaborating, boom. I'll give it to you. Let's go.
Yeah. How long does a day of shooting last? How many hours are we talking? Like on set?
Too many.
Like, we're talking about 12, 14-hour days.
12 to 14. Yeah, I mean, they call it a 10-hour day. You know, they say for your day rate, for what you're supposed to get paid, you're supposed to work 10 hours. That almost never has ever happened in my life. I've never
it's
finished.
Actually 10.
Yeah, I've never.
All right, you're done.
I mean,
punch out.
They might cancel something, right? They might like rearrange, be like, we still have to get this done. We're just going to move it to another day, so that makes another day longer. But you know, when you're going through a full day and they've got everything that's on the schedule, it's almost never 10 hours. It's always over, because it's just like it's so much to coordinate. It's and like it's one thing if like talent has to go, like, you know, or like say an extra has to go to the bathroom, like, you know, that's all right. You know what I mean? There's periods, but like if the director has to go to the bathroom or something, like that holds up like the whole production. And if there's like a car that has to be coordinated to be queued up at a time, like everything, there's so many components that if one thing has to step out for any reason, it becomes like a 20-minute to half hour between shots type of thing. So there's so much waiting and standing around. So it's not like these hours are like you're constantly working. A lot of it is just waiting to get for the next thing to happen. So you kind of, as an actor, you almost have to work yourself up to where you were to have that reality.
Man, that sounds exhausting.
Like,
yeah, it can be. Oh, it can be.
On Quentin Tarantino's sets, you ain't allowed to have no motherfucking devices.
Is that one of his?
Yeah,
policies?
You could sit there and do whatever you want. You ain't allowed to have phones, no electronics or nothing. Interact with each other or just sit there and jack off, whatever makes you happy. You know, and I think that is really fucking cool. You know what I mean? That dude is just like, no, you don't
old school.
Don't be reaching out to nobody. Keep your mind right fucking here in the fucking moment. And you know, so I respect that for a director doing that. I mean, I really think that should be implemented. You know, fucking no.
Yeah, just standardized.
Yeah, just standardized as in the business. You know, you don't tell your family you're working unless there's one person. There's an absolute emergency from home. Okay, here's your phone.
Yeah. Everybody has a walkie-talkie too. Like all the crew, most of the production staff will have a way to communicate. So if it's something important you need to get across set, like, you know, there's still no reason someone needs to text it. Like someone could radio someone who can get it.
Yeah, but I mean, I just to stay in the moment. I mean, because let's face it, you start looking at Facebook or Twitter, all this, you're going to lose the fucking momentum in the character itself. That's my opinion again. But so I like that. And so when I go on set, this motherfucker is shut off. Yeah, it's done. Yeah, I don't even look at it. So it keeps me straight laced. I would say that's my word.
Let's talk about scripts and lines. Is there any techniques to help you, remember your lines and your cues and when you're supposed to come in and what you're supposed to say?
Oh yeah.
Well, personally for me, I take my phone and I memorize the other characters' lines. I record it the way they would say it with the behavior and the emotion, and I play it back to myself. So I'm actually bouncing off, and it significantly helps me. Now, I don't know how the other process for other actors, but it seems to absorb better. And another thing for me, I'm not no good absorbing lines after like 5, 6 o'clock.
Really?
I could start the process, and I won't be able to remember shit. But as soon as I wake up in the morning, everything that I started at 5, 6 o'clock at night will all be in there then, and it'll all just be in there. So a fresh mind in the morning is when I would like to start reading a script, really.
Wow.
That's when I start absorbing it the best. Because you're already, well, let's say, because I have a regular job too. If I was doing this, 100% big time actor, it would be that you have that time to absorb, and not fatigue your body. But, I do construction. My body's wore the fuck down by 5 o'clock. And then the gym, of course, you're tired. So your mind's tired and dealing with your, your family and shit. But yeah, that seems to help me to bounce off the phone with the other character, with the emotion.
Yeah. What about you, Dan? How do you remember your lines? Technique to use.
I was kind of taught by actually our mutual friend Devin, I think, was the person who kind of told me that there's a really simple sort of technique. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It was my friend Jack. I remember now. My friend Jack. He's a really good theater actor up in Cleveland. He's worked up there quite a bit. Great theater actor. Shakespeare, all that.
Shout out to you, Jack.
Jack Matsuski, hey. Anyways, Jack told me, he's like, all right, so when you're going through the script, you basically just go through kind of like you're painting. You know how when you paint back over the same spot until it really gets filled in, like painted in, and then you go a little farther and you paint back in. It's the same way with the script, right? So like the way that he does it is there's a paragraph on top, and so you go through that paragraph and then you test yourself in your memory on that paragraph, and so, or that set of lines, right? It may not necessarily be a paragraph. If it's like back and forth dialogue, you might just take a chunk, maybe the first 4 volleys between you and the other character, and you go through that, and then you make sure that you have that. And anytime you mess up, if you don't have that, you just start over to the beginning, because the frustration of having to start over and over again, then you get to the point where you really just emphasize, okay, this is the part where I'm screwing up, this is the part that I have to remember, and I like to like say that part 3 times and then say it with the part right before it, and then I'll start over, and it kind of just like it builds like a rhythm. There's a rhythm to it, and so that's the easiest way that I've kind of learned to do it. And with also with that too is I don't really like, he was saying he would add the behaviors that would be in the scripts to kind of like have something to kind of make his choices off of as how he's going to play the scene. I don't do that. Like, I'm on the opposite school of thought where it's like I read everything deadpan. You know what I mean? It's like, you're being an asshole. Oh, well, that sucks. So when I do that, I get the lines in. I get the words in, kind of like, I know what the words are and they're there when I need them. But I want to go into the scene and just not know how it's going to go. Wow. I want to see what's going to happen.
So you want it to be organic.
Yeah, I want to see what's going to happen, and I make less choices in advance, but then after I see how it's going, after I kind of read that person the first time through, then I'll make some choices. Then I'll be like, okay, I see what he's going to do. Now I know what I'm going to do. But I never try to conceptualize that.
It's a great process too.
That's
I mean,
cool.
like I said, everybody does a little bit of different. Like Christopher Walken, when he does a script, he don't know any other buddy's lines but his.
Really?
He don't fucking know any.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
that's a Meisner thing too.
Yeah, he don't know anybody else's words. So he knows his words, and then he just goes off their behavior and shit like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So that's his process. I mean, like I said, everybody does a thing a little different. I try to adapt a little bit of Dan's, and it did help me on this last script. I went and read it. I call it flat. It would be just flat. Hey,
it's flat.
Hey, John, Bob, Bill, are you going upstairs? Yeah. Okay, we'll see you there later. Bye. Some shit like that.
Not much energy there.
Yeah, no, there's just no behavior. It's just flat. Just trying to absorb the.
Just getting the text.
The text. We'll see. You and your smartness. And,
come on.
Yeah. This fucking. You get really on my nerves with your fucking braininess. Fuck. But Yeah, so I'm starting to adapt his little bit of technique too, and it helped me on that last script I did and the audition I didn't get. But hey, but the fuck ever, right? You know what I mean? But I mean, but he reads a lot. I don't read as much as I should because again, I'm just in the daily grind. But yeah, I like his process. It really helps.
Yeah, and I mean, I've just taken stuff from other people that have done it, and it's worked for them. Like the whole thing about reading the lines flat. I actually learned that from like a small class I took from Dustin Hoffman, and like I was never like a huge Dustin Hoffman fan. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like actors that I like,
but you respected him.
But yeah, I was like, this dude's done some shit, so like I'll see what he has to say.
A fucking pimp, I think.
Yeah, and that's like what he said. He's like, I never choose what I'm going to do beforehand. I just read the lines, and then when I have the text, then I go into the scene. And he says if I'm thinking about any choices I'm going to make emotionally or character driven, it's about what the character would think. Like, if I'm supposed to be playing like a convict, I'm thinking like, when I go into a room, what can I steal or what can I use to beat somebody over the head with if, I'm in a hostile situation. He's like, I'm more concentrated on that psychology of the character. And I have the lines because I've done enough of going over them that I don't even have to think about them. And it's where those things kind of meet in the middle. Yeah. And that's kind of like more his.
That is kind of cool, though.
So he's actually trying to think like as that person. Yeah. And that's hard to do.
And again, if he's reading it flat, and then when he's in the scene, he feeds off his other partner. And of course, if the other character we just talked about is giving him a ton, being generous, then his is going to flow right out pretty organic and whole and big, you know what I mean?
Is it possible to over prepare for a role?
Oh fuck yeah. You better fucking believe it.
Like you put so much time when you get there,
overthink. You overthought it. Fuck.
You're overthinking stuff. And
yes, and that happens. I've done that, and I've learned lessons from that. You don't overthink it.
Getting in your head. That's what we call
it. But then you can't adjust in the audition room. Because you already have it preconceived in your fucking head, and you over prepared it, and and then they say, "Well, let's try it this way." Guess what?
Yeah,
I can't. You only know it one way, and I've just fucking been learning that lately. And it's like you got to be able to adjust. So don't think about it too much. Yeah. Give your behavior. Don't overthink it. So now I don't go in that room thinking too hard anymore like that. You still get the butterflies and all that bullshit.
On that note too, like when you think about like the behaviors that you see actors, like when an actor does like a really hard character role, like Gary Oldman or like say somebody like Daniel Day-Lewis when he's playing like an autistic character, it's not that he's thinking about doing like the twitches and the impediments and the tics and things like that. Like that's just something that like he did his homework on really early, and then he just got in the habit of practicing, just like the text. He just did it enough before that he's not really thinking about it when it's happening. It's just he's letting it all come back to him so that he's not thinking about it. Because that's the thing is like starting out as an actor, you think you're supposed to be impressive. You think you're supposed to. You try to present things to people, and at the moment where you try, you lose what Stanislavski was trying to achieve, which is that relaxation in which natural behavior kind of is displayed. So you're no longer just displaying natural behavior based on what's going on. You're presenting yourself, and so like that's where it becomes inauthentic, and that's where you see a performance. You're like, that's not he's overacting or whatever. Yeah.
We're sitting here with Billy Stone. Big Dan is here.
Woo!
I'm curious to know this. Do actors go through this? Do you ever watch movies and say, I could have did that shit better than he did?
This guy. Yeah. Was it Christian Bale? Yeah. Every time Christian Bale in American Psycho sucked.
I thought the dude sucked in that. I mean, he's phenomenal in so much other things, but he was still a young actor in American Psycho. So, but I didn't like him. And then now I know whatever Italian person, what I'm about to fucking say here, I might get shot, is that me and him both agree, worst movie ever and worst acting, I believe, is Raging Bull. With fucking Robert De Niro. Yeah. I mean, I just saw the fucking movie about a month ago.
They call it a classic.
Yeah. A classic shit box, you know what I mean? I'm like, God damn. I've been hearing about this movie since I was a fucking kid, and then and I fucking watched this movie, and I go,
that's it.
Yeah.
Is this Raging Bull I'm fucking watching here? Fucking.
And that's how I felt about The Godfather too. Everyone's like, The Godfather, it's fucking brilliant.
Wasn't impressed.
And I was like, gee, what? What is this?
Yeah,
I had already seen like another Francis Ford Coppola movie too. So I saw Apocalypse Now. I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be like Apocalypse Now. Like, and to me, that's like one of the best movies ever.
Yeah, it was fucking kick-ass.
And so maybe because of that too, and the fact that everyone's like, The Godfather's so great, that when I saw The Godfather, I was just so underwhelmed. I was like, oh.
And that's a great word, under fucking whelmed. I mean, like I said, the Raging Bull. You know, and I love De Niro. I mean, because he's just such a cool motherfucker. But I saw that. I was like, what?
What made it horrible? Because most people call these movies
the writing, the fucking acting. I mean, it was just like, you know, that movie was made in the 80s. I think early 80s. Yeah, 81.
Something.
Yeah. It was fucking horrible. To me, that's my opinion.
Wow.
Now, I know all you Italians out there are probably going to track me the fuck down.
That's
but
right. They're coming.
They're coming.
I think it was.
That's their fucking movie.
I think it was one of those things. I mean,
come to your car with a get out the car.
Get
out the car.
Get out the car. Right, exactly. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see, I guess, guys in your profession, actors, I guess, criticize other films that people hold in such regard. Like,
it's just like I said, it goes back to opinion now. I mean, you know, not everybody's gonna like everything, and that's how it should be. Yeah. Because somebody else likes it, and you're supposed to perceive it. Oh yeah, that was good. When deep down in your heart, you know it was fucked up. Yeah. And so, I was totally disappointed in that one. Man. Phew.
On that note, let's do some top five. So let's do top 5 actors and top 5 actresses. Ooh, Billy, you take it first.
Ooh,
all right,
give me actors first.
All right, actors first.
Top 5.
And I told a little bit about Dan on the way. I love Paul Giamatti.
Okay.
Because he's such a diverse actor. He's not like super handsome or nothing like that, but he plays so many roles. Mm-hmm. He's in every fucking thing. But he don't have the paparazzi fucking chasing him around, watch him wipe his ass. Mm-hmm. So he's just to me is this standout. I love that guy. I want to meet that dude. Yeah. I want to shake his fucking hand or whatever the fuck he wants to do. And then Stanley Tucci, of course.
Stanley Tucci.
Yeah. I love Stanley Tucci because again, he's in everything, but he's very humbled person, and I just love that. I just love the way he behaves on film. I do. And
we got Paulie Stanley
and Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I saw him in a movie, and I think he plays a reporter, and it's about when the AIDS thing came out, and I'd never seen this movie, but it's very high explicit movie. You know, he has a love scene with a man. I mean. And it was just like, it was almost like on a level of straight up, just like a porn.
Oh, shit.
I mean, when I saw this fucking movie, my boy came over. He's like, dude, you're watching gay porn? I said, no, it's a Mark Ruffalo movie, dude. Because it was like that fucking, I forget the name of the movie. And I thought to myself, look at this bad motherfucker bringing himself to that level of professionalism. And he was just, he was amazing in that movie. And then, Jeremy Irons,
number 4, okay.
Yeah, I love Jeremy Irons just because he's, I just love his accent, his behavior. I just watched an interview a couple weeks ago with him, and he talks a lot about the directors and all that, and how other actors are really selfish sometimes. And I was like, you know, I just seen him in so many different things. He's just very elegant to me. That dude's just very, very classic dude, and again, you know, I Matt Damon. I like Matt Damon.
Number 5. Okay.
I like Matt Damon.
He gets a lot I hate.
I do. I like
especially
Matt
by
Damon
Jimmy Kimmel.
too. You know, when I like him in the role with Denzel. What's the one where I don't want to say the wrong thing, but he plays a junkie, and he slimmed down to like nothing. He was like one of his first big roles, and when he played, they sitting there crying. He was skinny as fuck. I was like, that dude is a bad motherfucker. And what the hell was that? Honor Without Courage? Oh, Courage Under Fire. Courage Under Fire. Great fucking movie.
Yeah.
Denzel, that whole cast, Meg
Great.
Ryan, I think it was Meg Ryan. Yeah, was it Meg Ryan? I think. But it was just a great movie, and he played that junkie, and he's sitting there, and I was like, that is it, dude. That dude is super major player, dude. Major player. And then now actresses.
Yeah. These leading ladies.
I said Ellen Page the other day.
I said I like Ellen Page. Allison, she just won an Oscar for I, Tonya. I seen her in a bunch of movies. Allison how do you say her name?
The supporting actress.
Yeah, she won for Oscar. I forget how to pronounce her last name. She's what the hell is her name, man? Look it up. Come on. Everybody likes Meryl, because she's just so,
of course.
Rebecca Domain. How do you say her name?
Rebecca Romaine Stamos?
No, Rebecca. Rebecca. She's not really in the mainstream anymore. I just love the way. What the hell is her last name? I don't really watch actresses. I don't really pay attention to actresses. It's the male actors because I'm a male actor that I focus on. But I don't know. That's a tough one for me, man.
Yeah.
That's kind of throwing me. You threw me off on that. You threw me off on that one.
That's all right. We'll give you time to think about it. Dan, what about you? Your top 5 actors. Who would they
I was
be?
trying to find this I, Tonya. I got lost. All right. We'll figure it out.
Top 5.
Top 5 actors.
Yes.
Okay. Shoot. I usually am pretty good with this. Joaquin Phoenix for sure.
Damn.
Definitely super underrated actor.
Mm-hmm.
Very diverse. Loved him in Gladiator just as much as I loved him in The Village, just as much as I loved him in Inherent Vice. If you haven't seen Inherent Vice, dude, check that movie out.
Super pimp, huh?
Movie's so good.
Okay.
Then Casey Affleck, another actor who finally kind of got some recognition, but like before he did the Manchester by the Sea or whatever, nobody really was giving that dude credit, and he was killing it forever, dude. He was in Out of the Furnace.
You're right. Out of the Furnace, he really did well.
Amazing. Like that's like I get moved by that stuff. Like it makes me like think about life, and like when I see stuff like that, it was just
gives you goosebumps.
Yeah, I'm like, this is why I wanted to do this.
Yeah,
and that's definitely Denzel for sure. Another dude who's just been. I mean, really, being an actor, you have an appreciation for people who just put so much into it, you know what I mean? Because you know how much it takes after that. So Denzel, mostly Training Day is probably my favorite.
Of course.
Everybody loves that, dude.
Man on Fire, yeah.
Man on Fire.
I mean, I could go on, but Training is probably my favorite. Just because like it shows Training Day specifically because it shows you that there's really different type of like moralities in society. Because people want to believe everyone's good and everyone would do the right thing, but that Frank Booth dude, he makes you realize like there's a different type of creature out there sometimes. So that's huge to me, like as far as Denzel's stuff. Let's see, that's 3.
Yep.
Oh man, now it's getting hard.
It's always at the number 3. It's like who else?
See, like I said, I only like male. Like I said, I say on Kate Blanchett. I like her. Yeah. She's very diverse. When I started watching interviews, the first interview I ever watched of actors is Viola Davis.
Really?
Yeah, Viola Davis in this interview, I mean, you just knew what level of actress she was. And like I said, I really don't follow female actresses because I'm not a female, you know what I mean? Because I'm a male actor. But yeah, Viola Davis really is just killing it these days. I mean, anytime she steps on screen, it's just it's raw. It's just raw. That's the bottom line. So I really respect her big time.
Definitely.
Yeah. So but go on with your.
Yeah, you got 2 more.
All right.
It's getting tough.
Probably. I always liked Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, has he done anything?
He hasn't done anything in a while. But like the work that he's decided to choose to do, I think has been meaningful, because I think that's a big choice. Like when you're starting to become successful and you can kind of choose whatever you want to do, I think, it's kind of like there's a level of responsibility. It's like, what stories are you going to tell and be a part of and I guess put out there. And he shows some really powerful and thought-provoking stuff. So I think like that stuff has always been really good. Man,
Well, believe it or
spot.
not, he did a kick-ass job in Dark Knight's Rising.
Oh yeah,
Rising.
dude, he was perfect as
Yeah,
Robin. I don't think
yeah.
I could have thought of a better Robin.
Yeah,
than
no,
that.
that's fucking. He's pimp. He's pimp.
He killed that. Yeah, and then
Who gets that last spot?
dude, well, just because I'm on the spot here, I'm gonna have to give it to
Billy Stone.
That's right.
have to give
Motherfucker, it
him-
should be Billy Stone. Damn, man.
Yeah, this guy.
Damn.
This guy.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tie between him and John Malkovich.
Yeah, John Malkovich. You know what? That guy is bad. I like him, but like I said, my top 5 I already said. But John is very talented human being.
Why does Jake Gyllenhaal get a bad rep?
Oh, that.
He gets shitted on so much, but I think he's really. I think he's really good.
Yeah, I like Jake. He's good.
They shit on him so bad.
Well, he
comes from Hollywood.
Yeah,
though.
he grew up in L.A. Like his mom was a
parent-
writer, his
yeah,
dad was like, or something like that. So it's
he
like
was he was
Hollywood
always
royalty.
he had to break. He had to break that mold of just already kind of having a foot in with things and being preconceived as always that guy who just his parents did this, so that's why he's doing it. So I mean,
he's definitely talented.
Oh, you know what? You know what?
It's that stigma that's attached to him.
Yes, but I would have to say, dude, who was really impressed me lately too is in Matthew McConaughey. Because he's another person who had to break a mold. Like he was basically put into a situation in his career where he's like, you're going to be the romantic comedy guy who's kind of goofy, stupid, and sort of good looking, and that's just who you're going to be. And so he had to work his ass off to show people that. I mean, and he had done some stuff before that people just weren't really aware of, where he had shown some more talent and depth. But he was able to kind of take that to a new level, and he's just everything he puts out now is just like crazy good.
Plus the fucking Lincoln commercials. Come on, they're fucking cool. They just make them look cool as fuck.
Makes me want to buy a Lincoln.
Yeah, Matt's got one. I'll get one of them motherfuckers.
As far as like women actresses, Brie Larson is really crazy good. I saw her in that movie Room.
Yeah, Room was
and
fucking great.
she's also in this indie flick I like called Digging for Fire. But like she's just super talented and committed to, like, you could just tell she just puts a lot in what she does. Jennifer Lawrence I hated for a long time. I had no respect for anything she did. I was like, man, this is just like, this is like just like something teen girls are into because it was in some book that they read or whatever. But then I saw her in the movie Mother, that movie that just came out, Mother. Oh my god, that
kills it.
Yeah, as far as like acting and like the way we learned how to act and what we learned that acting was about, I mean, that's just like the most raw display of believing what's going on to you, because it's such a bizarre, surreal movie, and to be able to completely be into it and believe it and to go through the level of pressure that type of role it like entails. I mean,
that was.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could have done that, and so like to see her do that was just like anytime someone does something like that, it's just inspiring.
I like Jennifer, in American Hustle when she played the whacked out fucking wife. Yeah, I liked it. She just. I like her way. I don't know. She's sexy. She's cool. Yeah. She did an interview on 60 Minutes, and it was just one of the best interviews, because I watch interview after interview of actors, and I've learned so much from them about their stories and where they began, and her story, how she came up and all that. It was fucking amazing. She only went to the 6th grade too.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, 6th, 7th grade. Yeah, she dropped right the fuck out of school. And
wow.
Yep. Shit. And that's if you guys get a chance, if you're out there listening, watch that interview on 60 Minutes. It would change your. If you didn't like Jennifer Lawrence, you will after that interview. Yeah. I mean, because she, excuse me, she just brings it and shows the class act that she really is. And she even said it. She's like, I get paid a lot of money to do what I could do, and she goes, but if I make a couple shitty films, or however she put it, she goes, then that's it. She goes, that's how fast it could change for you. And she's humble that she does make that large amount of money, but she says it could change at any minute, and I know that. And so I knew right then that she ain't on her high horse, and that, I'm Jennifer Lawrence, you're going to pay me this big amount of money. She knows that two bad films, and yeah, so check that out, though. That's an interesting interview.
Dope. We're sitting here with Billy Stone,
That's
Big
right.
Dan. Let's take one more break. We'll probably come back, maybe wrap it up right here on Cloth Talk Podcast.
Damn.
Beep, 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 beep. You already know. Already on, already gone. See
See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. I ain't never gon' quit. I ain't with that shit. Going up, already been it. I ain't never gon' quit. I ain't with that shit. Going up, already been it. Ain't never lied to kick it. Ain't never been that nigga. Ain't gotta glow, ain't gotta boast. I ain't the one that be doing the most. Nah, me. I be with it. Lay back, try to build stacks of that fake shit. I ain't with that LA fitted where I stay at. You know, be low key on a low, but I keep my mind on the go. Potential with the pistol when I got flows. Fly high, so I gotta miss the popo. Attention I get, serve these niggas cause I be that vet. Working hard just to earn respect, and I'm going off cause I ain't done yet. But you already know. Oh. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Blow that ooh, we got a little booty. Plus, I've never been a groupie. Kinda loopy, never shot a Uzi, so you gotta please excuse me. I ain't with the violence, never been a pirate, but I kill niggas with silence. School was private, then I went to college. Know I had to get that knowledge. I've been this and I've been that. Run around the world, I did that. In fact, I stay intact, and I'm at the point where I'm attacked. You know, these niggas sleep on woke. Been a queen, not a hoe. Best believe I'ma do my thing, cause you ain't Jane and you ain't me. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. Already on, already gone. See, I'm already blown. I'm ready, already. You already know. I ain't never gon' quit. I ain't with that shit. Going up, already been it. Already know. I ain't never gon' quit. I ain't with that shit. Going up, already been it. Already know.
We're back to Cloth Talk Podcast. I want to keep it going, listeners. I can't, unfortunately, because of memory on the camera and battery life. But the good news is that these fine gentlemen said that they will definitely come back for part 2.
Yes.
So if you enjoyed this one, definitely come back when they will come back. That's that. Give out you guys' information and contact if they want to connect with you guys. They want to, reach out to you.
So best way to find Billy Stone is to go to his website, which is www.actorbillystone.com, or follow him on Twitter. His Twitter handle is actorbillystone. And then you could check out me and the stuff I do. I got a little blog called The Hustle Artist. So thehustleartist.com. What up?
Yeah.
I do like a little blog. It's about entrepreneurship and marketing, stuff like that.
Nice.
Just relevant topics, stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm also the Hustle Artist on Twitter as well.
Hustle Artist on Twitter. And if they want to book you for, I guess, a gig, if someone sees it's like, hey, I want to get this guy in the film.
Yeah, hire us. Let's hire him.
Right.
Get him some more.
If you're looking for a badass actor, I'm your man. I can bring it for you. I'll give you 100% of my attention.
Let them know, I guess, if they want to know what type of, acting specialty characters that you like to play, if they was looking for a type of character.
Well, because of my background we just talked about, my rough upbringing, everybody, I'm the gangster, this guy, bad guy. But I'm very diverse. I can play any role, really. I mean, I want to do more of not the tough guy, you know what I mean? Just a regular individual, just playing a good role. Because the tough guy things, I played a couple tough guy roles, and it's just, I lived it. So that, it's not as organic to me as it to them. But, I want to really expand my horizons.
Yeah, I mean, character stories is like a big thing. Like being a father, being a husband, like the actual drama of everyday life that like people don't, look at. I mean, that's what's fun as an actor. I think that's like really what's something that like he's passionate about. And,
exactly. That's why I was hoping to get that dad role, and but again, it didn't happen, and that's cool. And that, shout out to my girl Jamie Kitten, that Jamie Kitten Media Group. She's a very talented casting director coming up in Cleveland. If you ever want to see her, she's cool. You can see her on Facebook, and she also does Cleveland Audition. If you want a professional audition, she'll tape it for you, and then you send it out. She does a great job at that. So check her out, Jamie Kitten. And like I said, I wanted the dad role, but there's gonna be more of that.
Exactly.
I don't, like I said, the DPI Soldier Joe. That was easy, kind of, except the rape scene. That was the only thing. That was the only thing. But yeah, hit me up.
Look out for him.
I'm real easy to work with, and I respect the whole the acting trade, the craft. So yeah, hit me up.
Oh, here's what I want to ask. I know we only got a few minutes left. As far as acting goes, I know it's all about pushing yourself, developing yourself as an actor, doing all types of different things. Is there anything that you won't do on camera? That you know?
No, I'll do it all.
Nudity, all that type.
You want to get me? I'll get ass naked, and like I said before, I'm hung like a Tic Tac, but I don't give a fuck.
Doing gay stuff, whatever. He's
whatever.
down.
I don't give a fuck.
Man on man scene.
Yeah, whatever. It's acting. That's what it is.
Do you respect actors that have those clauses in their contracts, like I'm not doing this, not doing that, not doing this?
I respect their.
Would it limit you though? A certain
I
way?
would believe it would. I don't know personally. Maybe does the director respect that? I guess, but I mean, knowing as an actor,
I'm not going topless.
An actress.
All right.
Well, at the end of the day, I think it's like it's a business too. Yeah. So like it's your brand. If your brand is like selling morality to teenage girls, you're not going to want to do Hannah Montana kind of flipped the script on that one. But there's a lot of
Kim Kardashian. I mean,
but there's a
lot
of people that where it's it's not good for their brand at that time, and sometimes that contradicts. But I guess it's a weird part of that industry is just having a personal brand that's out there that you're kind of responsible for and having to make choices based on that. I think more of those decisions are based on that than personal choice, because I think a lot of actors want to do more than what they're sort of limited to.
I respect people that have their limits. There's nothing wrong with that. I think Jennifer Lawrence in the beginning, she wouldn't do no topless scenes. I think in the beginning, and now of course she's running it. Because maybe the confidence wasn't there.
The happened and everything changed.
Well, I'm just saying maybe the confidence wasn't there. People aren't confident with their body. Me, like I said, I'm confident with it, and I'm hung like a Tic Tac. I said that again. It's just like, it doesn't matter. If the scene's calling for that and you want to make it organic, let's do it.
Yep. There it is. It's been another episode of Cloth Talk Podcast. Make sure you check Billy Stone out. Make sure you follow him on all the platforms. If you miss it, just rewind it and go back to it. Make sure you follow Dan as well on his platforms. If you missed that, just rewind it. Subscribe, rate, comment, share this if you enjoyed it. Make sure you come back. This has been the Cloth Talk Podcast. See you next time.
Woo!
Cloth Talk Podcast. Check it out.
Hold on. Wait. Before you go, if you enjoy that episode of Cloth Talk Podcast, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe and follow button. Also, rate this podcast, share this podcast, and like this podcast. If you are an artist or know anyone who is an artist that would love to get their music played, send that to clothtalk5@gmail.com. Once again, that is clothtalk5@gmail.com. See you next time.